I was a young troubadour when I wrote it on a song. I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
Hello and welcome to Voices of the Valley. I'm Sarah and I am interviewing one of my very favorite people, my favorite artist, Tim Sigler. Welcome.
Hello.
We are going to get to find out all about your childhood up till now. And in part two,
Yikes.
you might pick up that guitar, right?
Oh, for sure.
All right. So let's start by tell me where you were born and where your whole little baby life started.
This is a little bit like therapy, but at least I have a beer in my hand, so this
I
is
did
way
make
better.
sure, yes,
Way
better.
better, thank you.
Yeah.
I was born in Albert Lea, Minnesota, but I grew up in Owatonna, Minnesota.
Okay.
I was there from the time I was born until the time I was 18 years old.
Okay. How big is Owatonna? Is that a small town?
Small town, I mean, there's about 20,000 people.
Okay.
But,
Not too different from Stillwater.
Not too different from Stillwater, but very different in many aspects.
Okay.
Yes.
Very different. How so? It seems like that's leading.
Well, I love Owatonna, don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
like there just wasn't a lot of nightlife for a young musician to kind of put his roots down there, you know, and make a go at it. But Stillwater is, I like to say, it's like a mini Nashville.
A mini Nashville.
Have you heard that before?
I don't know, but I want to quote it forever and ever. I
You
love
should.
that.
It is really like a mini Nashville. Like Nashville's changed a lot in the last 20 years. The population's probably doubled, and the number of bars has probably quadrupled.
Mm.
There's a lot of bars in Stillwater, and I love them all. And in the summer especially, you can walk from bar to bar,
Yeah.
and you can hear the doors are open, the music's playing, and you, like if you're a fan of live music, you can walk
Yeah.
and bar hop like you would in Nashville.
Yeah.
From
So
bar to
you
bar.
heard it here first, people. Mini Nashville. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so you grew up in Owatonna, didn't have much of a vibe, if you will, for what you decided to pursue. Did you have a big family? How many siblings?
Got one brother, 4 years older than me, and a sister that's 8 years older than me.
So you're the baby?
I was the baby.
Oh my God. I swear this is not planned, but every single person, myself included, that have been on the show have been the baby.
We're looking for attention, obviously. We're just fighting for attention.
Oh my gosh, I think there is something to that. Okay.
That's why I had to learn to play guitar. I had to be louder than my older siblings.
Okay. Were they musical at all?
Oh, my brother played trombone. I don't know if you'd call that musical or just annoying,
Mm.
but not what we all sang in church choir. And all
You
that
did?
stuff. Yes.
So did you grow up like Catholic? What is church choir? Is that Lutheran?
we were proud Lutherans, you know.
Lutherans, okay.
But no, we go to church and sing every Sunday and the church choir thing.
And all three of you?
plays and stuff like that when we were young. And
Okay. So you did theater?
nah, well, kind of musicals and stuff from church. I tried out for musicals when I was older, but I didn't make the cut.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't have a good enough voice. I was
Okay,
told.
we're gonna explore that a little bit.
How do you like
more.
me now?
Right? You missed your chance. Do you remember which musicals you tried out for?
I remember vividly trying out for Charlotte's Web.
Was that a musical?
It was a musical variation of Charlotte's Web.
What songs are sung in Charlotte's Web? I don't even
God,
know.
I don't know. It was singing about a spider web and a pig or something like that. But yeah, they didn't like me.
Oh,
And,
well, they are sorry now.
And so then I buckled down and grabbed that guitar and practiced
Uh-huh.
all day long, just to spite them.
Just to show 'em. Does Owatonna claim you like home of Tim Sigler?
It depends on the year or what kind of controversy I'm in.
Okay.
You know,
Are you
I'm a controversial guy, I guess.
Are you?
A little bit.
Okay.
As of late, I guess.
I don't know if we deep dive. Hold on.
You want to deep dive onto that yet?
I don't know
Maybe
if we
we'll wait
deep
till
dive.
second segment on that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're the youngest of three. You're all 4 years apart. Did I
Yep.
get that right? Okay. So growing up, did you always have something for music? Like, were your parents musical?
You know, I've had stories and I have memories of singing in the back of my parents' station wagon, Chevy Impala. You know, with the face seating backwards.
Yeah. So you were facing oncoming.
Yeah.
Or traffic.
I have terrible motion sickness now when I drive in cars because of that. I'm pretty sure.
Who designed that?
I know,
We
right?
had the same thing.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, but
And the youngest always gets seated in that back.
Oh yeah, so we're facing backwards, waving to cars behind us and stuff. And I remember singing aloud to along to the Moody Blues, "Your Wildest Dreams," really loudly, obnoxiously loud. Probably annoying my parents, but my mom, God bless her, she said, "You have a really good voice. You should keep that up."
Oh.
And I remember saying, "I want to be a professional singer someday."
How
I
old
was
were
probably
you?
like 5 or 6 years old.
Wow. Okay.
But that was, that's like kids that say they want to be an astronaut or a football player. It was
Right.
kind of a pipe dream. And then I quickly became a fan of law enforcement, and that's kind of what my sights were set on for the duration of my realistic life of
Brand new
college and
information.
things
I
like
didn't
that.
know this. Okay. So you're 5 years old, you're singing along, you have a big dream. Who encourages you? Like, what's inspiring you to continue this pursuit?
I really kind of didn't even think about it at the time, but I sang, and everybody sings in the shower or whatever. But it wasn't until I got my first guitar, and I was 14 years old, and I started taking lessons at my church, Trinity Lutheran Church. There's a great guy named John Lestock, who's actually a pastor over in Hudson, Wisconsin, just across the river now. And he used to offer guitar lessons for free.
For free?
Yeah, and so we'd go there and learn all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're teaching Led Zeppelin and
They're
Tom
teaching
Petty.
Led Zeppelin and Tom Petty at the Lutheran Church.
Yes.
That's
You don't get that
impressive.
at Catholic churches, I
You
guarantee.
don't. You don't. Lutherans are known for being able to have
Very rebellious.
have a beer and maybe live on the edge a little bit.
Yes.
Who bought you your first guitar?
My parents did.
Okay.
And I still have it to this
You
day. My
too?
daughter actually has it now. I let her kind of have that, and she's taking it up herself now. She's 18, but she's playing a lot.
She is playing a lot.
Yeah.
What sort of guitar was it?
It was an old acoustic Alvarez that was
Okay.
probably way too big for me at the time,
But you figured it out.
but I figured it out. Kind of.
Yeah. Did your fingers? I've tried. Okay, I have a dream that someday I will learn guitar, and I've tried many times, and I have to tape my fingers so that I can actually.
Super glue on the fingertips. If
Oh.
your fingers hurt, that's the tip.
The super glue.
Yeah, put a little drop of super glue on your
Okay.
fingertips.
Insider little
That'll
note
help
there.
the pain until
How
you
lo-
get thick calluses that are like bulletproof. Then
Are yours right now bulletproof?
They're pretty bulletproof.
Super bulletproof. Okay. I want to jump to your daughter real quickly because you mentioned her. She's 18.
yes,
What's her name?
her name is Haley.
Haley. And she plays guitar. How long has she been playing?
I started trying to teach her when she was probably like 4 or 5 years old on
Wow.
that same Alvarez that I got when I was 14. That was too big for me.
So it's like this, right?
So it was giant,
gigantic.
which is a terrible way to try to teach a child guitar because they're going to be like, "This sucks. I hate
Yeah.
it. I can't do it."
It's harder to press
So yes.
the strings, isn't
Yes,
it?
buy
Yeah.
a cheap little guitar when
Yeah.
you're starting your kids off.
That's a good tip.
Yes.
So now, how long has she been playing?
She's been playing kind of on and off for, God, probably, 12,
Okay.
13 years. And
She's pretty darn good.
yeah, she's impressing me. She's picking up the songwriting element of things and piano and stuff, and I don't know how to play piano,
Okay.
so I'm very proud father.
I bet you are. You said she plays piano too?
Yes.
Okay. Did you nudge her in that direction?
No, that was all on her own.
Wow.
So she's got that musical bug.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff, and-
you're a proud papa.
yeah, proud papa.
That's very cool. All right, so I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. You're going through high school. You've decided that you're going to choose a career in law enforcement.
I was going to be a cop. I mean, I
Okay.
watched NYPD Blue religiously.
As one does.
Sipowicz, smacking the people around with the phone book. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Favorite
Okay.
movies were like Die Hard and all that stuff.
Oh.
I wanted to be a cop, and that's, I, as a guy that even liked country music as a young child, I had the soundtrack from Cops, which is like the band Inner Circle, Bad Boys, Bad Boys.
Yeah,
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I would play that. Cruising was a big thing in Owatonna, in my small town.
Oh, it was in my town too. Did you have a main street to go?
We had a main street, and it was quite I mean, it was a big deal. Southern Minnesota, people would drive from 30 miles around to go cruising. And I remember playing country music and, of course, the theme song from Cops, Bad Boys, Bad Boys.
I was going to ask you how, like, why country music? Because obviously there are a lot of varieties. I don't know if Owatonna is, like, leans a certain way, but what was it about country music that kind
Well,
of
that's,
you?
I was a classic rock fan. I grew up, loving like Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty and Zeppelin and the Beatles and all that stuff. And when I started playing guitar, trying to play Led Zeppelin just wasn't in the cards. It's like, to play Jimmy Page and to sing Robert Plant is impossible. Easier for chicks to sing Robert Plant than a guy.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do stuff that I felt like I could do myself. And so that's where I kind of really started to identify with country music, was the ability to play guitar and sing things at the same time, which is challenging in its own right.
Lord, yeah. Just doing this feels like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of multitasking things, but it comes with practice. But I found that I could sing along and play to country music because it made sense in my brain, because I'm saying lyrics that make sense. It's singing about real life, and I'm strumming songs that are, not screaming guitar solos and things like that.
Yeah. Was there a specific artist, a country artist, that you're like, that's who's inspiring me, that's who's driving?
Well, when I was growing up in the 90s and stuff, playing guitar, there was a guy named Garth Brooks. He's kind of a big deal. He kind of came along and made country music cool.
He changed the game.
He
feel like
he
he
did
was
change
the game
the
changer.
game. I mean,
Yeah.
he really did. And a lot of people love him, a lot of people hate him. But what he did for country music was huge, And then from Garth, then I started to go down the path to other artists. And I love old school country now, everything from like, Hank Williams and Lefty Frizzell and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. I love all that old stuff. But the guy that really got me was the same guy that got Garth Brooks, and that was George Strait. That's the guy that is my favorite, and he's the guy that I kind of, aspire to be. And I've always loved it. Garth Brooks, the biggest selling artist of all time. People ask him, what do you want to do, like, with your career? And he's like, I feel like a kid still. He's like, when I grew up, I want to be George Strait.
Oh my God.
And he still says that after selling nearly,
Yes.
bazillions of albums. And
like, he's top of his game, best of the best, and he's like George Strait. Was there one song? Was there a song that when you were like, ooh, when I sing this well?
Well, it came later, because I didn't really have confidence when I first started playing. That took a while. And I still get nervous about stuff, but...
Do you still get nervous?
Oh, yeah.
Because you are flawless in performance. You look like you're so in, and it's just like second nature.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's, it doesn't happen, naturally per se. I mean, it happens with experience, I guess, but, a little bit of this helps every now and then. And,
True.
But I'd say the song right now that I really feel confident singing and that I can just escape into is George Strait's song called Troubadour. And it's a song about, a musician that's been around for a long time. And I don't like to feel like I'm old, but I've been doing it for a long time now. So the opening line is, I still feel 25 most of the time. I still raise a little cane with the boys. Honky tonks and pretty women, I'm still right there with them.
I hope we hear a little bit of that
we might be
in
able.
part 2. That would be very exciting.
You can do that.
Were you so I'm going to backtrack a little bit more. You were a 90s graduate. What year did you graduate from high school?
98.
98.
Oh, it's on high school, yep.
Okay. And from that point, where did you go?
From that point, I was in the law enforcement track. And so I went up to St. Cloud State, great law enforcement program up there. I went there, and I hope he's not watching this, but I got stuck with a roommate that I did not get along with very well.
I'm sorry in advance.
Kind of smelled, and it was just awkward. And so I was just put off by the whole dorm experience and stuff. So
It can be like a win or lose, like your best experience ever or a complete nightmare. It sounds like yours was.
it was a nightmare. I was a bit of a homebody, I guess, oddly enough. And so I, after that first trimester or whatever, I scheduled all my shows to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday so I could head back home to Owatonna. I delivered pizza for Pizza Hut on the weekends, and then I would eventually start a band. Well, by the time I went to college, I had my first band,
Oh my
and
gosh.
we were playing, not a lot, but we were making lots of noise in my parents' pole barn shed.
Oh my god. Side hustling, Pizza Hut, and a band. Okay.
Hey.
So we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to maybe hear Tim sing a thing or two. And I want to explore a little bit more of his music roots. So we'll see you in just a little bit.
Fun is the name of the game at the Lumberjack. Throw some axes, enjoy Union Alley, sit back, relax, take in the excellent food and drinks. The next time you are out and about in beautiful downtown Stillwater, visit Sarah and the great staff for a fun night out. Visit the Lumberjack off Commercial Street in downtown Stillwater today for a glass full of fun.
Cheers.
I'm with Stacy from the Greater Stillwater Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to get a little update on the happenings around town. And Stacy, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, here we are in February already.
February.
After a fabulous January in
January
Stillwater.
was like the longest year of my life.
It was, for sure. But it was amazing.
No.
It was amazing.
It was. So what do we have going? What can we look forward to?
Well, one thing is the snow sculptures are still up, so they're still standing. It's been cold, it's still cold, and we're hoping that they will remain up for most of the month of February. We'll have to see.
It's really up to Mother Nature.
Yes.
So if she wants them to
Yes.
be around a couple more weeks, they're lit at night.
Yep. Lots of
Keep coming
people
to
out
see.
enjoying them still. Yes,
Yep.
we love it. Love it.
And then, okay, so that's still going on. What can we look forward to?
So we've got lots, as always, going on here in February. Our Tim Sigler will be here at Ziggy's every Sunday afternoon, 3 to 6. That's always a great
Don't miss that show.
entertainment.
It is so fun.
Absolutely,
So fun.
yes. The Chamber has a big month. We have our annual Chamber Gala,
Okay.
and that is our community awards. It's our opportunity to shine the light on our community. We give a bunch of different awards out for large business, small business, nonprofit, volunteer, hero, youth, ambassador of the year. It's
So
a great
cool.
evening at the JX on February 18th.
Now, is that just for special people, or can the whole community come if they want?
That's open to the whole community. We
Okay.
invite all of our chamber members and any and all community members to come celebrate with
Okay.
us.
Do you have to buy tickets, or do I get to eat and drink for free?
No. It is a fundraising event for the
Okay.
chamber, so there is a ticket price. You can purchase a table. Just check out the Greater Stillwater Chamber website for more
Excellent.
information.
Now, I feel like Winterfest is on the brink.
It is. I
Okay.
believe that day actually kicks off Winterfest
Yes.
for a whole week of awesome activities. There's a Park a Pub crawl, all the Minnesotan kind of winter things going on during that week.
We have a beard fest. That's my best beard at the Lumberjack, so you can I don't know, enter to win your fancy
Yes.
beard, and people vote.
Yes.
As you said, Park a Pub crawl. I think there's Stillwater's Got Talent.
Yes, that's always a favorite. Lots
Yeah.
of really fun
My daughter
things.
always does it.
Yeah, good.
Warms my heart. Yeah.
Love it.
And then there's also, is it the Fat Bike Race?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's also on the horizon. That's always a popular activity as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Sign up for it. You might need studs on your tires because it's winter biking.
Yes.
But it's super fun.
Yeah.
And that takes us through February, right?
It does. It's going to be past before we know it again.
know.
Another month gone by. Love
Stillwater
it.
is the place you go to have fun. I try to make we're the funnest river city, but I guess apparently that's not a word, so we can't
I
use
think
that.
it should be.
I think it should be a word.
We're going to make it happen.
Okay, from now on, that's it.
Yes.
So thank you, Stacy from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
We look forward to all the fun things Stillwater has to offer in February.
Love it.
Well, hello, and we are back with Tim, and we are going to learn a little bit more on that music side. You might play A thing
Got
or
the
two.
cowboy hat on now, so
Yes.
we're
So we're
officially ready
ready.
to play some guitar.
I
pretty quick
feel
here.
like I should have prepared better and worn my, but I'm kind of a wannabe cowboy hat wearer.
Oh, I think most people that wear cowboy hats are wannabe cowboy.
Like Beth Dutton. Do you watch Yellowstone?
I love Yellowstone.
Oh my gosh.
I just finished it.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have goals.
Kevin Costner. So
Oh,
good.
he's a tough guy, and Beth is tough, and I'm pretty soft. So like someday I want to be that tough.
Do you feel like you have a little bit of Beth Dunn in you?
I'm working on it.
Watch out.
Watch out, people.
Yeah. Tell,
All
tell your
right.
husband, watch out, man. Watch out.
Nader, that's a warning.
Yeah, Nate, watch
All
out.
right. So I want to go back to, I'm really curious about the very first song you learned or performed, whichever one it was. What was that?
So when I was learning guitar at my Lutheran church,
At your
you know,
Lutheran
after we
church.
had, you know, lutefisk and all that stuff, we would play guitar, and a lot of times it was stuff that was beyond me. So I would just kind of do what I could. And I remember I would jump into lessons with guys that had been taking lessons longer than I had.
Okay.
And I remember, you know, Soul Asylum's Runaway Train. I remember Led Zeppelin's Heartbreaker, which there's no chance I was playing that. And I remember Tom Petty's You Don't Know How It Feels.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And that jumped out at me because I loved harmonica. And harmonica is a good instrument to learn on because once you get the right key, there's either two things you can do. You can suck or you can blow. And that's all. And so
Okay.
I thought I was like this, you know, I'm like, I can play harmonica to this. And then I learned to play guitar to it. And then pretty soon I'm up in front of the church for a church talent show playing You Don't Know How It Feels. So that was kind of the first song.
With the harmonica?
Well, for the talent show, I believe I was just playing harmonica because it goes back to the whole, you know, like the two things at once. And if you're singing, then it's three things at once, so it's a lot.
Can you legit, okay, would you be willing to play harmonica?
I have it here.
Okay. Like 30 seconds, whatever you can maneuver.
Yeah, I can do a little part of it. I mean,
I'm gonna totally fangirl. Something about the harmonica, plus you sometimes are like guitar, singing, harmonica. Who does that? Tim does that, but yeah,
Well-
let's hear a little.
this could be a disaster, but we'll see what happens. You gotta take the hat off.
Has it ever been a disaster? Have you ever gone on stage and all of a sudden it's like, oof, I totally
Oh
choked?
yeah, for sure.
Good. That makes the rest
For
of us
sure.
feel more human. Yeah.
I think the thing with disasters, as far as performances go, is how you recover from it. Because if you act like nothing went wrong, then you can just say, oh, it was jazz, it was improv or something like.
I improv that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's the attitude far more than it
And that's
is.
kind of a joke amongst me and my band guys that play for me and stuff and other musicians. Is whenever there's a wrong note, you just say, it's jazz.
It's jazz.
It's jazz.
I'm using that. I don't know how it relates to me and when I have my moments of failure, but I'm going to say that.
Jazz of life.
It was
There
the
you go.
jazz of life. All right. Show us what you got.
All right, so this would have been the first song I played with like a band type setting that I learned at Trinity Lutheran Church in the Owatonn's talent show. And it's a song about marijuana and stuff too, so we had to change the words a little bit when we sang it at church, but we won't talk about
As
that.
one does.
Let me run with you tonight. I'll take you on a moonlight ride. There's someone I used to see. She don't give a damn for me. So let's get to the point. Let's roll. Another joint, that's jazz. Turn the radio loud. Too long to be proud, and you don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels. Something like that. It's been a while.
Oh my God, I feel like like it's the Rolling Stone of interviews here. Ladies and gentlemen.
You got the jazz performance there with
That-
the wrong chords and everything.
You know what? I would have never known. I was
That's the
totally
thing.
fangirling
That's
over
the
here,
thing. I
like,
could have
oh,
stopped and been like, oh, I
I
messed
screwed up. But no.
But no, I
wouldn't have known.
didn't.
What did you say in your Lutheran church instead of those? Do you remember the words you
Oh,
had?
so the words I believe were, let's roll another joint.
Yeah.
Turn the radio loud. I think our pastor, Pastor John, love you. He says, let's have you guys say, let's roll away.
Oh, roll away.
Let's roll away instead of another joint. So,
I could totally
works.
see
It
my
works.
pastor feeling all those vibes.
not
it
quite
works.
the Tom Petty vibe that he was probably talking about, but it works.
I think a lot of music is a spiritual experience,
For sure.
and everybody feels it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Was there, or are there musicians in your life that you feel like created almost a spiritual experience for you that really moved you?
Oh, hands down, life-changing experience for me was when I first saw Bruce Springsteen live.
Where was this?
it-
Set me up. Where
It
were
was
you?
Target Center. It was his E Street Band reunion tour, and I was into country music at the time, but I loved classic rock too. And I knew Bruce Springsteen. I was a fan a little bit,
Okay.
not a huge fan, but then I saw him live, and he was jumping on the pianos and like, Ministry of Rock and Roll, like just pouring sweat out. And like his connection with the crowd was something and I've been to a lot of concerts, but no one captured like that religious experience like Bruce Springsteen did live, and it changed my life as a performer. And I think that even as a country musician, I think I have a lot of my influences from Bruce Springsteen.
So, can you explain that a little bit more? So, religious experience, what was going on in your head? What was going on in your heart in those moments that really was transformational for you?
Well, when I saw him, I had a band that was just starting.
What was the name?
Straight River Mud Dogs.
Straight River Mud Dogs.
Straight River Mud Dogs. I was on the Straight River.
Okay.
And I just picked a bunch of words, and I said, that sounds good. I don't know why, but no, we started a band called Straight River Mud Dogs, and we played, and I was always nervous, and I was always like self-conscious of people that were sitting down watching me. And so it was always hard to get the crowd to engage. And when I saw what Bruce Springsteen was able to do with a packed arena full of 20,000 plus people,
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be like that guy. Kind of like Garth Brooks was like,
Yeah.
I want to be like George Strait.
Yeah.
I want to be George Strait too, don't get me wrong. But very different entertainment aspect of
Yeah.
how you engage with a live audience.
Yeah.
And I believe Bruce Springsteen is by far the best live performer. I wish I could have seen Elvis, because I heard he had a lot of the same type of mojo.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's the right word, but I think mojo is a good word, and there's something where you're able to connect with the crowd and to make them feel what you're feeling and to help bring them someplace away from where they're at. Many years later, been doing this for almost 25 years now, professionally, and people, when they come to the bars to see me, they're coming to get away.
You want to escape.
Life
You wanna
is hard.
escape, yeah.
Life is hard, people. And when you go to a bar, if you want to, have a quiet dinner, you go to Matchstick or something like that.
Yeah.
Great restaurant. But if you want to cut loose and escape,
Yeah.
then you go, whether it's me at Ziggy's on a Sunday or JX with the
Yeah.
full band or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
My mission is to get us in a different place than where we're at together.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
People can't do it by themselves unless they're, enjoying some of
Substance.
Bob Marley's finest, whatever.
Whatever it
Yeah.
takes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're escaping. And I think this about you. I've seen you perform a number of times, and people around me. And I've had people around me go he smiled at me. I know he was looking at me. And I think you have such an incredible talent
Thank you.
for connecting with the crowd. I think you have that mojo. I really do. And it's palpable. How does he do that? Why do I feel so connected? Is it always that way?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't always that way. And I think there's, when it comes to musicians that play for a living, there's two camps. There's ones that are more artistic, and oftentimes they're playing for themselves. It's internal, and you get to see a side of their internal artist, coming out
Yeah.
via the speakers. And then there's the other side of the camp, which would be the entertainers, and that's the Garth Brooks, that's the Kiss, that's
Yeah.
the Bruce Springsteens,
Yeah.
the Elvis, the guys that are really trying to put on a show where there's a connection and there's a feeling that transcends just the lyrical content or the music alone.
Yeah.
And neither one's right or wrong, but it's just what you're looking for as a fan.
Yeah.
It's all subjective, and as a performer, and me as a performer, I go to where I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the artists like Bruce Springsteen, where I
Yeah.
feel like I'm
You're there.
transcending life.
It resonates.
Yes, it resonates, and so that's what I want to do when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
And so, it's my job, but it's my passion.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's my mission every night to make people go to that place.
Yeah.
That elevated place.
Yeah.
And like Bruce Springsteen said, the ministry of rock and roll. And I just don't. I'm not a sit-down singer-songwriter type guy.
Yeah.
I wanna take people somewhere.
Yeah. And you do. And you do even as a solo artist, I think you do. And people feel that energy. And I think that is a special skill. So now that I know kind of how your inner workings are, there's got to be days where you're like, I don't feel it. I don't want to do this. I'm not excited. But everybody is waiting for you to lift them up and bring them to a new place, whether you're feeling it or not. How do you handle it?
Well, I think it's probably like any other job, except for there's a lot of people watching you.
So many people watching.
If you're selling insurance in a cubicle, you could probably put your head down on the desk for a few minutes and not get busted for it.
Yeah.
But if you're on stage and people are watching you can't do that. So it's like, yeah, sometimes it's tough. If you're playing a string of 6-7 shows in a week, by the end of that week, you're probably pretty tired.
You're cashed out.
You might be hungover.
There's a chance.
I don't know much about that, but
It's never happened to you.
It could have happened a time or two. And you have to rally. You got to rally the troops. And I'm not advocating for sponsorship, but things like Red Bull and chugging pots of coffee and all that stuff helps.
Yeah. So, should we pause?
What does he need to do?
I don't know.
They're dropping off some stuff here.
We're done in 5 minutes. They can wait 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. All right,
Okay.
so sir, I'm just gonna cut right back to you, so we'll just continue the
Okay.
conversation here. So
Okay.
here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And
So what about some dark times? So all of us in our lives, we have to fight through things, and you're extraordinarily successful. Perceivably, all of us are like Tim's best of the best in our area, and we really look up to you. When has it been hard? How have you gotten through it? Being a musician it's just not like all fame, like it's an incredible amount of work. When's
Well,
it been tough?
Some of my toughest times have been, I've been through divorce. My daughter's 18 now. When I was young, I played a lot of nights. I missed a lot of stuff at night, and bust me up. And just like any dad or mom that's working a lot, you look back on those times you can't get back. And so, yeah, there's times when someone wants to hear "Cats in the Cradle" or "Everything that glitters is not gold," that can hit a spot in me where I will literally struggle to make it through a song, or I'll emotionally break down. And so those have been some of the times when it's really tough, because if I go too far inside, then it's hard to connect with people outside.
Yeah. So you want to make it personal and real, but not too real.
Exactly. I mean, that's the balancing act, where it's like it's not about me, it's about us.
Yeah.
And some artists, it's about them. I think it's got to be the balance of
Yeah.
you and I, and it's got to be an us thing, and so that's what I always strive towards and stuff. But at the same time, I think people like it when they see a softer side of me.
Yeah.
If I'm slowing it down, and I'm like, hey. But I always try to tell people where I'm at,
Yeah.
And, you know, be like, hey, you know, rough night, and, you know, this is a song that makes me think about my daughter, you know, when she's young, and miss some stuff, and so forgive me if I break down into tears during the song.
Yeah. I think when people see your humanity,
Yeah.
right? Because we all expect you to have this polish and persona. And I like when I see the real. And
Yeah.
as hard and challenging as it is to be that vulnerable,
Right.
I think that's a big piece of what people look for. Was there ever a time where you're like, I'm throwing in the towel, it's too much, it's too hard?
No, you know, I've that's not the way my parents raised me. I've never been a quitter or anything like that, and it's literally my passion. It's my calling. It's all I know. It's what I want to do. You know, if you know, during COVID, for example, like when my live shows were all kind of canceled
Yeah.
for a long time, you know, that was devastating to me. You know, from many different aspects.
Yeah.
You know, but most of all, you know, besides financially, like just psychologically, like once I lost that outlet, like it was like taking away a piece of my soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying though, is like I think people want real. People have that. I don't know what it is, sixth sense or whatever, but like
Yeah.
people can detect phoniness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like I don't ever want to be phony. And a lot of times it gets me in trouble because I say things that are real that I feel that might piss people off.
Yeah.
But I'm always real. And so
Yeah.
that's one thing I always want people to know is it's real. I'm not faking it. You know, yeah, the cowboy hat. I don't have cows or anything like that. But neither does Kevin Costner on
I know,
Yellowstone. You know.
but if you can wear the hat, you can wear the hat.
But yes.
As we close up, I think to COVID, and all my businesses shut down too. And I remember seeing your efforts to support bars, support other musicians. It felt like, whether it's true or not, like it was your personal mission to make sure that everyone recovered. Like, you're a fighter.
I'm a fighter.
You're a fighter. And I think it lifted us all up, like, we're gonna get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what necessarily made me do that stuff when I was doing like live streams during
Yes.
COVID and stuff, but like I really felt like, you know, a lot of things were happening that weren't right,
Yeah.
especially that was targeting our industry,
Yeah.
you know, bars, the restaurants, hospitality, live music. I really felt like we were being targeted, and I felt like, right or wrong, I felt the need to speak out because I
Yeah.
felt like a lot of people were too afraid to speak out, or too afraid of, you know, being labeled as selfish.
Sure.
You know, like, how dare you get out there and, you know, put on this virtual concert that's protesting these shutdowns or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, it's like, that's who I am. So
Yeah.
I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna always keep it real. So if I believe that these shutdowns and things like that are unfairly or unjustly targeting, you know, industry people that I know
Yeah.
and a lot of my friends that
Yeah.
make music, then I'm gonna speak out.
It's your lifeblood.
It's my lifeblood. And I'm willing to fall on the sword and say, like, you know what?
Jeez.
You know, F you. If you want to take me on, take me on. But I'm going to speak up for these people because it's wrong.
Tim, my heart, it's so full. How about we leave on just one piece of advice? You followed your dream in a very narrow path that a lot of people don't make it. What can you tell everyone who might be musicians and they might be struggling? What's that one piece of advice you can give?
You know, I don't know if this applies to every field, but for musicians and stuff, I think it's find other people that have similar, you know, views as you, because you're stronger as a group, and to just get out there and play, and don't let anybody tell you how you have to do it, because no one told me how I could make a living in the bars. I just did it, and you know, it's not everyone can do that. I know, but like, you know, follow your dreams. And same thing I tell my daughter, follow your dreams and stuff, but keep it realistic too. You know, when I started, I had to work several part-time jobs and stuff too. You know, I was playing in bands, delivering pizzas, working as a private investigator, and, you know, going to school for law enforcement, all that stuff. But like, but just stick at it, if it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But never stop, never quit.
Never quit. Tim Sigler, I wish I had 20 more minutes because there's private investigator. We didn't even go there. Maybe we'll have a repeat visit. But thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me
and
on.
your honesty and your vulnerability and your songs.
Thanks for what you do for Stillwater and the Valley area here. I mean, it really is a mini Nashville here, and the live music scene is flourishing, and especially after COVID and a lot of the crime increase in Minneapolis and St. Paul, Stillwater has become an amazing place to visit, especially for live music, amongst other things. And Sarah does an amazing job for supporting that stuff, along with places like Ziggy's and Petey Pappy's and countless other places. So,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Thank you. Please join us again as we get to know more people in the Valley. Like Tim, your story was incredible.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time. See you next time at Voices of the Valley.
25. Most of the time, still raise a little cane with the boys, honky tonks and pretty women. Lord, I'm still right there with them, singing above the crowds and the noise. But sometimes I feel like Jesse James, I'm still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song.